What's up, guys? Welcome back. Amazing RC. Brian here. Got the old Tamiya flatbed connected to the Tamiya Grand Hauler. Very excited to get to this point right here, but got a ways to go. And that's what this video is for, to explain exactly what my next few steps are and how far we've come. Now, I had wrote a few of you out there and said, I hope to get the wood on here tonight. I'm going to get these lights all wired up and then trail's going to be pretty and we're good. And no, not at all. And I'll tell you why. There's a lot going on. If you can't tell, we've got our ground effects lights. We've got the new side rail lights. They came out really, really good. I could not have imagined them better than they came out. They're all solid as a rock. They're not ever going to go anywhere. They all work perfectly fine. But then I started to think about all the lights and what they're supposed to do. Now, if you guys remember, these are just running lights, the red ones. However, the orange lights, these are going to be blinkers. So they're going to be hooked up to the MFC01 up here. Then we've got the rear bumper, which has 4 brake lights in, 2 more blinkers, and then you've got your reverse lights that I added. So, if we just think about that for a minute, the blue lights probably up here, because if I don't have it up here, then I'm going to have 2 3S batteries, one in here to run the same lights underneath the Grand Hauler, and then a 3S battery here. It can be done, but if I can do it with one 3S battery, then we're good to go. But keep in mind, we're going to have wires coming from here to here. This needs to be able to pull up, connect, possibly plug in a little wire, and we're good to go. And herein lies the issue. I have several different sets of wires that have to make it from here to the MFC01. We've got brake lights, that's 1 lead. We've got right blinkers, that's 2 leads. We've got left blinkers, that's 3 leads. And then we've got reverse lights, that's 4 leads. And then our 12 volt to go up to the front to run the big pretty blue lights underneath. It's a lot of stuff going on up here that all has to be wired up correctly. And it needs to be wired into this. And if you can't tell, I've got a little something going on in here. And it's not just as bad as it looks. It's actually a little worse. So I noticed that my really cool MFC01, the big giant speaker up here, it gives me all my awesome sound. I'm going to have to go through Bob's videos, Hobby Concepts. I'm pretty sure he had found a way, it might have to be a little bracket, either make or he might even have one that he's created, that will move that big speaker, because that big speaker is inside the cab here, and I want a driver and a center console and gauges and a steering wheel. I must have it. I must have my MFC01. I must have my cab. Now, if my memory serves me correct, I think Bob has moved that speaker from in here, taken it out of the giant box of death, and got it under here somewhere, which leaves room for all of the stuff. So I'm going to have to go over to his videos and see exactly how he did that. And if I don't find one, I got to figure something out myself, because, like I said, I want the speaker, I want the sound, and I also want a cab. I want to put a little light inside the cab so you can see my little driver and all that other cool stuff. So that's an issue. And then, of course, this all has to go. It's got to be wired up underneath. Everything's got to be pretty. Remember, we've got a rear bumper under here, and then we also have, this tail bumper back here. Everything has to all be wired to where I can plug it one time. Bink! I have some really cool 6-way plugs that I got from Banggood.com like 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I think if I put enough thought into it, I can get this wired up to where one little plug comes out of the front here and one plug comes out of the back of the Grand Hauler, and I can just plug in one thing and run all of these correctly. Left blinkers, right blinkers, reverse lights, tail lights, the whole 9 yards. I think I can do that. I think. Because it's just one negative. All the negatives need to be, riding out. And then the positives need to go to signal. So I don't know. I'm going to have to do some testing, some crazy stuff. But that's where I'm at. Now, to some of you, this might look like a nightmare. And in some sense, it is a nightmare. But it's my nightmare, and I love that. This is my jam right here. If anyone ever wants to know what gets me up in the morning, this right here, because someday, it won't be tomorrow, it won't be next week, but someday this is going to be a running grand hauler, and all of the lights are going to work. They're all going to perfectly be set up to my Fly Sky here. And I tell you, now that I've got it to here, I'm getting excited. Now, I've been excited the whole time, but now I'm really getting excited because now I've got some stuff to think about. I got some stuff to think about. Guys, if you know what video I'm talking about over at Bob's channel, and if you've seen it, let me know, because I got to try to figure out where to put that speaker. I got to have both. I got some wiring to do in here. I'm probably going to finish this wiring first, get the leads out the front here, and then get this kind of wired up to where I can just plug it in before I do anything with the wood. I was really, really wrong. The other thing I got to make sure that I do is, this is the grommet hole right here for the wires to come out, but that means that you got to cut a hole in the wood decking. I don't want to do that. I think I've got a nice little spot here that I can actually carve out a nice little rectangle for all my wires to feed out. That's why this is put together right now. I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to interfere with anything, like, you know, the release right here, you know, any of that stuff. And the way that it looks right now, I'm pretty sure that in between these screw holes here, this one and this one, I've got a nice little area directly underneath this grommet that I can run these wires out so that I don't have to chop a hole in my wood. I don't want to do that. With all this work, it's going to be perfect or better. Period. I am excited. Guys, I'm going to cut this video now. I'm going to get back to it. We will see you guys in another video very, very soon. It's Brian, Amazing RC.